Hello, my friends. My name is Ellen. Welcome back to my Southern Kitchen and the third episode of Ellen's Fall Baking Series 2025. Today, I'm going to share with y'all another butter pecan cake recipe. I have done two recipes in the past, one from scratch and one from a cake mix, and they're both layer cakes. I'll post the link to those recipes down in the description box below. This time, we're going to make a butter pecan pound cake. Oh yes, sugar. And my friends, it is so simple and easy to make. The bomb.com delicious. And the best part, we're going to use a butter pecan cake mix. But we're going to doctor it up, and it's going to taste like we made it from scratch. Everybody's going to love and enjoy this. Perfect for the fall season. Also great for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Your guests will be going back for seconds. And I'll post the complete recipe along with the instructions down in the description box below. Also check out my previous video, Apple Raisin Cobbler. I'll post the link to that down in the description box below. So grab your bundt pan, your pecans, and your butter pecan cake mix sugar, because we're about to bake some butter pecan pound cake magic in my Southern kitchen. Here we go. Alright, my friends, the first thing we're going to do is toast our pecans. In my skillet, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 1/4 cup of packed light brown sugar. Give it a stir, and we're going to let the brown sugar and butter melt. And as soon as it melts, I'll bring you back. Alright, my friends, the butter and brown sugar has melted. Now we're going to add in 1 cup of chopped pecans and 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Give it a stir until it's well combined. Now we are going to let the pecans toast for about 3 minutes. Alright, my friends, I am through toasting my pecans, and off camera I poured them into my bowl. And it smells amazing. I can smell the cinnamon. Love the smell of pecans toasting. So now I'm going to set this aside and let them cool. And while it's cooling, let's get started on the dry ingredients. We need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So we're going to use my 1 cup measurement and fluff it up. And using my butter knife, we're going to level it off like so. Voila, perfect cup. And we're going to pour it into my sifter and medium bowl. Into our flour, we're going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, 2/3 cup of packed light brown sugar. And I'm going to sift these together first before I add in my cake mix. Alrighty, now we're going to add in the star of the show, our butter pecan cake mix, and this is a 15.25 ounce package. And sift. Alrighty, dry ingredients are done, and I'm going to whisk them a little bit to make sure everything is well incorporated. Now we're going to set the dry ingredients aside while we work on the wet ingredients. In my stand mixer with the paddle attachment, or you can use a large bowl with an electric hand mixer, we're going to add in 1/2 cup, which is 1 stick, or 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter that are melted and cooled. You can also use salted butter, just omit the salt. Next, we're going to add in 2/3 cup of full-fat sour cream at room temperature. Going to make the cake nice and moist. 4 extra large eggs at room temperature. Our extracts, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla, that's a cupful, and 1/2 teaspoon of pure maple. And I highly recommend using the maple extract. It's amazing in butter pecan. It's going to give it a great flavor. Last but not least, 1 cup of evaporated milk at room temperature. We're going to mix the wet ingredients together on medium speed until they're well combined. Alright, my friends, now we're going to add in the dry ingredients a little at a time and mix. Alright, last of the dry ingredients. And keep on mixing, but be careful not to overmix. Alright, my friends, our cake batter is done. Look how whipped and luscious that is. Perfect. Nothing like the smell of butter pecan. So now there's one more ingredient we gotta add to it. Our cooled cinnamon toasted pecans. And before we pour them in, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour and toss the coat. And the flour will help suspend them so it'll be inside the cake and they won't sink down the bottom. And fold them in. Alright, my friends, I am through folding in my pecans. Now we are ready to pour the batter into our bundt pan. We're going to pour it in the 10-inch bundt pan that I sprayed generously with baking spray, or you can grease it with butter and flour. Alrighty, now I'm going to shake it and bang the pan to release the air bubbles. Oh, this batter smells amazing. I can smell that maple extract. Alright, girlfriend, you ready to go into the oven? It's nice and hot and waiting for you. Oven's preheated to 350 degrees. Going to let it bake for about 50 minutes. And I'll bring you back. My friends, I wish y'all was in the kitchen with me. It smells so good and heavenly up in this kitchen. I just taken my pound cake out of the oven. It's nice and golden brown. So now I'm going to let it cool in the pan for about 15 minutes. Alright, my friends, it's been 15 minutes. Now we're going to remove the cake out of the bundt pan and place it onto my cake stand. Wish me luck. Gorgeous! Came out nicely. So now we're going to let it cool completely. And while it's cooling, let's make our luscious brown sugar glaze. In my large bowl, we're going to add in 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Into our powdered sugar, we're going to add in 1/3 cup of packed light brown sugar and a pinch of table salt. Give it a whisk until they're well incorporated. Alrighty, next we're going to add in our extracts, 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla and 1/4 teaspoon of pure maple. Now we're going to add in 1/4 cup, which is 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I melted and cooled. You can also use salted butter, just omit the salt. And some evaporated milk. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons. Give it a whisk until it's well blended. I'm going to add in some more evaporated milk until I get it to the right consistency. Alright, there we go. I got my glaze to the right consistency. That looks great. I add in 6 tablespoons of evaporated milk. Go to about 5 to 6 tablespoons. So now our pound cake is nice and cool. Let's give it some sugar, shall we? We're going to pour the glaze all over the pound cake. Alrighty, got all the glaze onto my pound cake. There's one more thing we gotta add to it. Some toasted chopped pecans. Going to sprinkle them right on top, like so. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? And there you have it, my friends. Semi-homemade butter pecan pound cake or bundt cake. Doesn't that look good? So now I'm going to let the glaze harden and then I'll cut me up a slice and we'll give it a taste. All right, my friends, I got me a nice southern slice of pound cake, and I'm serving it with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Now it's time for the best part, the tasting. Here we go. Look at this texture. Fantastic. Look at that. Please have a bite. Moist, buttery. I love that little crunch from the pecans inside the cake. And that brown sugar glaze, my friends, OMG, is spot on amazing. Nothing like butter pecan. One of my favorites. Reminds me of butter pecan ice cream. This is marvelous. Please give this recipe a try. This deserves another bite, and I'm gonna grab me a little ice cream. Yum-o. Butter pecan pound cake licious. My friends, many thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video recipe, please give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And for more Southern magic in my kitchen, hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so that way you'll be notified when my new videos come out. Also, follow me on social media, Facebook, Ellen's Homemade Delights, and Instagram at Ellen Delights. And please send me an email, ellenshomemade@gmail.com. I would love to see your beautiful creations with my recipes. And I'll see you next time. Let's eat. Much love and happy fall.